Good afternoon, class, and welcome back to another English class for my beginners group. Today we're going to talk about Unit 5, Lesson 26. And the title of this lesson is called Push the On Button. Basically, what you guys are learning in Lesson 26 is to give instructions. The affirmative and negative imperative of the preposition word into. Alright, so I hope you guys have your notebook ready. Don't forget that your title is Unit 5, Lesson 26. If you're working on this on your tablet in the platform, there is no problem. Just make sure that I'm able to see your work. Now let's take a look at number 1. Number 1 says, an office manager is showing a new travel agent around the office above. This is the picture of the office above. As you listen to the conversation, number the office machines in the order they mention them. That's why you guys, if you take a look, you have a little square where you can go ahead and tick the office supplies that they mention. Here it says, or number them in order, but we can't really type in the number. But if you're doing this in your notebook, you can go ahead and write the numbers down. Now take a look at number 2. Number 2 says complete each instruction card with the name of one of the machines in the box. Listen to the instructions and check your work. So don't forget that this exercise, once again, you need a listening. You need to have the speakers or your headset on because this is a listening activity. Okay, you have them right here on the side. You have letters A through F to match the instruction cards that you have on the side. Remember the homework that I gave you guys, that you guys were supposed to make a tutorial on how to give instructions on making anything? That homework is linked to this activity. Now let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 says listen to the conversation and practice the conversation with a partner. Act out a similar conversation, asking about one of the office machines in exercise 1. So what you guys have to do is you need to write this information down in your notebook, make your own conversation, not necessarily do it in partners, you can do it on your own. And what you guys need to use is you need to use the phrases that you have in the box right here on the side. This box says prepositions in and into. That's what you guys are working with today. Okay? Now let's continue. This is a little bit long. This lesson finishes with this activity. It says give instructions, the affirmative and negative imperative. So, for example, we know that whenever we want to make a sentence negative, what we have to use is the word not. Okay, so let me start with the negative. Do not put the newspaper in the fax machine. Why? Because we're using the word put. That's what we learned in this lesson. The negative form, do not, positive, put. Put the documents here. Of course, you can add the word do. So you can say, do put the document here. Negative, do not. Or the contraction, don't put the newspaper in the fax machine. Okay? Now, let's take a look at what we're going to do next. What we're going to do next, right here, you guys can see, is the words, it's the lyrics to the song Hey Jude by the Beatles. What you guys have to do is you have to find the link of the song. You can do it on Spotify, you can do it on YouTube, whatever is more comfortable for you. And as you hear the songs, what you need to do is fill in the blanks depending on what word they're singing in the song. And that's all we're going to do for Unit 5, Lesson 26 of your student book. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our workbook. because don't forget that once we do the student book, we need to go ahead and take a look at a workbook. So what you guys are going to go, you're going to go back to your books, you're going to select your subject, you're going to select your level, and you're going to look for your student book, your workbook, which is right here on the bottom, workbook. And once this loads up, don't forget that you have to go on the top where it says menu, take a look at your lesson, your unit 5, lesson 26. The first one is 25, and the next one is 26, and that's all you guys have to do. It's 2 pages. Number 1 says cooking vocabulary. Fill in the space with the appropriate verbs. Okay, you have the verbs on the top, and you have to match them with the appropriate instructions. So for example, the first one says, let me try to make this bigger for you. Perfect. The first one says to stir ingredients together with a spoon, fork, or a mixer until it's combined. What is that? Does that mean we are boiling? Is it stir fry or is it whip? So your answer here would be whip. So come here on the side, whip. Here you go. Now, what you guys can do is, just in case you're having a little hard time of what this means, you can go ahead and try to look for these words in your dictionary. There's absolutely no problem. Take a look at number 3. Number 3 says find 2 conversations and write them under the correct pictures. So depending on the 2 things, what would you say in this conversation? The first one says, how does a fax machine work? Because we know that this is a fax machine. Okay, how does the cassette player work? So we know this is a fax machine, and we know that this is a cassette player. So we put number 1 on top because it belongs to the first picture. We write number 2 because it belongs to the second picture. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that you have to rewrite the conversations once you have divided them into 2 groups. So we know that the first question has been written down for us. So let's type that back. How does the cassette player work? Okay, we know that's your first question, just like we did the first one. What would go next? Now let's take a look at number 4 and the last thing that you would have to do for this lesson. It says complete the sentence in the box with in or into. Then complete the conversation with the sentences. Okay, so first you would have to fill in the box, and then the phrases that you have in the box are the phrases that belong in the bottom in order for you to complete this conversation. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. Don't forget to go back to the Moodle platform and check out all the extra activities that I have for you guys.